Looks like we may have a new owner of James Bond 007. I am your host, Dave T, your intellectual property attorney, dealing with everything from patents, copyrights, trade secrets, as well as trademarks. And it seems like a gentleman from Australia has just challenged the rights for the James Bond trademark. So first, before I kind of explain to you this situation, some housekeeping items. Please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, as well as hit the subscribe button to be a part of the IP community, where we talk about a little bit of everything, such as these current events. We do Shark Tank breakdowns. I just did 3 interviews this past week of actually Shark Tank contestants, where 45-minute, hour-long interviews talking about their journey and how IP has played a big portion of that. So we have a little bit of everything on the channel. I'm sure that you will be able to kind of get down with something that we have going on here. So let me kind of paint this picture for you, because this is actually interesting. Typically, it's a number of ways where you can kind of lose rights to your trademark. One of those ways is in which you just don't pay the maintenance fees. A newsflash, whether it's the USPTO or another government, you have to pay maintenance fees to keep these trademarks active. To the extent that you don't pay the maintenance fees, they will go abandoned. Another way is to not be using the mark. So again, trademarks last forever, which is one of the benefits compared to copyrights and patents and some of the other forms of IP that has a shelf life. Trademarks last forever, but you actually have to be using the trademark. To the extent that you are not using a trademark, at some point it would go abandoned. So those are 2 of the typical ways. Is kind of number 1, you stop paying the maintenance fees, or number 2 is you stop using a mark and therefore the mark is going to go abandoned. And then there's some other cases where you can kind of petition. In this case, the United States Patent and Trademark Office, to have them cancel the mark for one reason or another. But again, those are kind of 2 of the big ways. You don't pay the maintenance fees, or I should say, you stop using a mark. So it seems like in this case, James Bond. And again, another thing that I kind of want to throw out there for you guys: when you're getting trademarks, it's no okay. You file one trademark and you get it protected everywhere around the globe. If you're trying to get a protected mark in the U.S., you have to file with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. If you're trying to get a trademark in China, you have to file with that trademark office. If you're trying to get a trademark in Europe or one of the countries in Europe, you have to file in that particular jurisdiction. So you have to file for trademarks in each country or jurisdiction that you want protection in. And it seems like a real estate developer, a billionaire real estate developer, has a petition to cancel the mark in Europe, the trademark in Europe, for non-use. We're going to get off all into it. I actually just looked on the United States Patent and Trademark Office database. It seems like this Danjack company, which is a Delaware corporation, owns the various trademarks to James Bond 007, at least here in the U.S. So I'm not sure if a different company owns it in Europe, but it seems like kind of that's the lay of the land as we have it right now. Let me pull up the article here. This is from The Guardian, so shout out to The Guardian. James Bond won't die on my watch, says Austrian, I should say. I said Australia. Austrian, who wants ownership of the 007. Hey, man, back in the day when I was growing up, man, and I haven't watched the 007 film or played the game in a while, but those the James Bond games back on PlayStation, like the original PlayStation, them joints were sweet. Where you come in, they be like, Bond is here. That was a pretty sweet game, but I haven't played it in a while. So let's go. Property developer making trademark challenge claims the spy franchise is in mortal danger. So this is actually another interesting. He's not challenging the mark because the name is close to somebody else's, or because of some loophole or illegality. He's in a sense saying, hey, man, I don't think they're using the mark the way they need to be using it, or it seems like they are not using it, and therefore I want in. But it's weird, because if you stop using the mark, you can just wait till the mark goes abandoned and then file for a trademark on it. But he seems like he wants to, since they haven't been using the mark, or maybe don't have any plans for future use, he wants to cancel the mark and then actually get ownership. So it's kind of a weird way in which he's going about it. But let's take a look at the article here. James Bond will not die on our watch, the businessman challenged the ownership of the rights to 007's name, has said, claiming he is motivated by concerns about the future of the multi-billion-pound global spy franchise. So again, this is in Europe. like I said, this is weird that he's saying, hey, he's concerned about the future of the actual mark. The Guardian revealed on Friday that Joseph, so this seems like this is an Austrian property developer who is building a $5 billion luxury resort complex called the Heart of Europe on 6 artificial islands off Dubai, is challenging the trademark ownership of the James Bond name in the UK and European Union. Nearly all of the trademark challenges relate to the merchandising of goods and services under the Bond name. So again, for those of you who don't know, you have to actually let, I guess in this case, the European patent off or trademark office know what classes that you're going to be using to mark in, whether it's going to be for clothing and apparel, whether it's going to be for movies, so forth and so on. And it seems like this challenge is specifically related to the merchandising of the goods and the services under the Bond name. So again, he's challenging for non-use. So it seems like at least in Europe, after 5 years of non-use, you can challenge the trademark. So for all the people who are in Europe, kind of be on a note for that. Daniel Craig revealed his retirement. So it seems like Daniel Craig is the person who has been playing James Bond for a number of years. It seems like in 2019, he said, "This is it. I'm hanging up the boots. I've gave y'all classic after classic, and my time is done." So 2 years before the release of the most recent film. So it seems like No Time to Die came out in 2021 maybe, and Daniel Craig revealed his retirement prior to that. With no announcement since his replacement or timeline for production of the next film, the 63-year-old franchise is on the track to beat the previous longest gap between installments of 6 years and 4 months. So again, he's pretty much saying, hey, I want another Bond movie. I want another Bond. I want to know what's going on with Bond. I don't like this all this time that's elapsing between which y'all letting us know with these Bond movies or the Bond franchise. So it seems like he's for the lack of a better word, impatient. So Joseph said, "We and many, many more fans are disappointed to see and understand how James Bond is being treated." This is crazy because you would think James Bond is a real person, but this is a character. But apparently, he and others are not happy the way James Bond is being treated. The character is being treated. Our concern is certainly to ensure that James Bond, as we know him, stays alive and that there are few further experiences with him. We have decided to invest and support letting today's fans and future generations enjoy James Bond. The developer plans to make a fuller announcement about his commercial intentions behind the rights challenges. Joseph has also filed trademark cancellation filings relating to the use of the James Bond name in the films and video. Like I said, I way back in the day used to play the James Bond video game. That was sweet, the 007 video game. But it seems like he's also filing some cancellations for the films and the video, in addition to the goods up here. Seems like he's also canceling. So he's canceling it in a number of categories to try to essentially gain ownership. However, experts believe that given the long history that Eon, the rights ownership and Bond film producers have in this sector, any rights challenges in that area is likely to fail. So it seems like the experts don't think that Joseph, the billionaire real estate developer, is going to win. That's interesting because, like I said, in the U.S., Joseph or let me see who owns this company in the U.S. Then Jack LLC owns the company or owns the rights to the name in the U.S. But it seems like Eon, whoever this guy is the rights owners, at least maybe in Europe. Nevertheless, Joseph argues that the whole situation that the Bond franchise has become mirrored is in a worry to all 007 fans. Eon, which is run by Barbers, all seems like Eon is a company, which still is different from the company that owns the trademarks in the U.S. It's run by Barbara Broccoli and Michael Wilson. It has a base in Pinewood Studios, has control over the film franchise down to selecting the actors to play the lead role. So it seems like Eon got some power. They just haven't made that determination of who's going to play the lead role with your boy, what's his name? Daniel Craig retiring. Let's continue on here. MGM, which co-owns the rights to the Bond films, which acquired by Amazon for 8.5. Trust me, if Amazon just got the rights to the Bond film, 8.5 billion in 2021, I would imagine that Bond was going to be around for a while. But I would imagine that's for the old films. How long has James Bond been around? That's actually a good question. Let me look that up really quickly. James Bond has been around since 53? Jesus. So it seems like James Bond has been around for over 70 years. since the franchise has ground to a halt. So it seems like the franchise hasn't been doing anything lately, with the article suggesting that Broccoli did not hit it off with Amazon executives and that a standoff has put future Bond projects on ice. So it seems like Amazon and Broccoli, that's a heck of a name. Barbara Broccoli, seems like they are at odds. And that maybe was the hold up on any future announcements on the James Bond film. Claims on a rift with Eon were denied by Jennifer. The global, so it seems like Amazon is denying it. We are looking at the whole situation. Our concern, said a spokesperson for Joe. Okay, so this seems like this is your boy Joseph. The falling commercial success, knowing that a fall will ultimately lead to the death, which we want to prevent. Under no circumstances should the next film be the last. The next film is not yet in sight, but there are other fundamental issues. So it seems like he doesn't like the way things are being ran. The James Bond trademarks are registered to the U.S.-based company Danjif. That's the company that I'm familiar with here in the U.S., which controls the rights to the worldwide traditional James Bond and merchandising in conjunction with Eon. So it seems like Danjif and Eon kind of controls the rights to the worldwide traditional James Bond merchandising. Danjif also owns the copyright to the existing James Bond film. So again, the actual films are protected via copyright, not a trademark, but the name in terms of James Bond, 007, all that, so forth and so on, are protected via an actual trademark. Joseph claims that a plan needs to be made to resolve the growing disconnect that is developing between the Bond fans fueled by the drought of the 007 content in the global market. Man, this guy has to be an older guy. All of this could mean that James Bond, as we know and love him, will no longer exist. But even more worrying that the relationship between the administrators of James Bond is their relationship with those who make up the James Bond fan base. So again, man, what do you guys think? You have to let me know in the comment section. It seems like this guy who's clearly has way too much money developing properties, billion-dollar properties out in Europe, is a little bit disgruntled of the lack of announcements of based on Eon and Danjif as far as kind of the future direction of the film 007, and he's canceling the petitions to try to get ownership of it. Now, legally, he can do that. Like I said, it seems like 5-year non-use in Europe. You can petition to cancel the mark so that it's back in the public domain, but I doubt, and it seems like the experts agree with me, doubt that this property developer is going to succeed in that endeavor. And I would imagine that once Amazon and it seems like the executives at Eon kind of get on the same page, or maybe kind of part ways, you will see more James Bond films going forward. So if I had to guess, give you my expert analysis as an IP attorney, the real estate developer is probably going to lose his petition to cancel the marks. And it seems like once Eon and Amazon need to part ways or get on the same page, that you will see more films. Trust me, this franchise has been around for 70+ years, and I would imagine that they're not going anywhere anytime soon. So those are some of my thoughts. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please hit the like button again for the YouTube algorithm, as well as hit the subscribe button for the IP to join the IP community to the extent that you are not part of the IP community already. And I would love to hear your comments in the comment section below. Do you think this guy needs to find something better to do, or continue to develop real estate and kind of let the experts as it relates to the executives and the owners of James Bond kind of run the franchise? Or do you agree with them? Do you think these last couple Bond movies have been kind of in a downward spiral, and I think it's going to get worse and worse unless somebody else takes it over? I would love to hear your guys' thought in the comment section. So please leave your comments, and again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.